Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to my Facebook Live. My name is Bonnie Sachs, and this is my happy half hour where I take some time to sort of connect myself to more information, more wisdom, more of the energetic things that are happening here on the planet. And this one is going to be a really interesting one because I actually started this with a tissue in this hand and a box of tissues over here. And I was just sitting here starting to cry about the frequencies that are coming in, the information that is coming down, the healing that is available to all of us this morning. I'm like, oh, well, this is really fun. Why are we starting like this? So good morning to David and Sarah, who are probably like, yo, who is that woman? Hi, hey, Robin and Aaron. It is great to see you. This one today is really interesting because there's been family time. There's been so much information for me that has come in the last couple of days regarding this illusion of separation. And I think it's because it's what I've really wanted to work on. I keep saying I want to stop seeing myself as separate from from other people. There have been so many ways that I have put people into categories and into little boxes. And I was like, it's time for me to stop doing that. I want to see beneath that. I want to see what's underneath that. I want to understand that people are more than just how they show up, just how they look. If I were a person who said, I don't like anybody that has green hair, I want to be the person who says, I can see past the green hair. I can see past what is there, and I can love what is there beyond the green hair. Good morning, Lauren. So I have been finishing up this book. It's called The Book of Freedom, and it's by Paul Selig, and it's actually the third book of a second series, so it's actually the sixth book. And there is so much about this conversation in this book. And I love that it has shown up now because it feels like there's a lot of opportunity for us to practice this very thing, right, that we're talking about. Good morning, Karen and Millie. It is great to see you this morning. There's so much opportunity for us out there to look beyond what seems to separate us, what seems to be different about us, and for us to look to look beyond, to look deeper. It sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? It was interesting this morning because I wanted to write some notes. I love to write notes. I love to know where I'm going in case I get stuck, in case no one talks to me and I don't know what to say for a full half an hour. And I pulled out my notepad, and I already had some notes on that. And this particular notepad is list 1 through 12. And, the first one says, take care of myself, bye, right? And you're supposed to fill it in, and then there's a 2, 3, 4, and you can continue to fill that in how you want. And this is something I wrote probably a week or two ago, and is take care of myself by hugging myself more. Number 2, by creating more magic. And number 3, remembering who I am as a creation of source. And I was like, yes, that's exactly it. Look, here's a notepad that is already set for me to talk about all of us being from source, that we all came from the same place. And the way it shows up for me is that we were all standing on the exact same path. It's a big, huge huddle of bodies, of beings, of souls. And it was kind of like source was the coach and said, okay, everybody put your hands in. And we all put our hands in and we all said, joy. And we broke apart and everybody went in every different direction. And, those different directions are the different paths that we have been taking. And we, some of us went north, some of us went 1 degree northeast, some of us went, 2 degrees northeast. And then, of course, we kept shifting and changing from where we were, depending on what we were supposed to be doing. But it's all perfect because we can always trace ourselves back. It's like the breadcrumbs that lead us back to the very beginning. We all know on a soul level where we all came from and that we all come from that same place. And we're just busy having these experiences. And it's really no big deal that one person has gone off to have this experience. This we're going to, at the moment, use the example of the religious thing. Somebody who goes off to be a Buddhist and learns how to be a Buddhist and completely believes in all of the Buddhist principles. And then there's one of us that moves off to be a Christian and learns all those Christian principles, whichever of those works for that particular person. And somebody else goes off and starts studying Allah and really dives deep into that experience. And what happens is in that process, each one of us has a different understanding of what God is, has a different awareness of who we are from that perspective, right? From that, we're not going to make it really complicated, but from that very perspective, if you study Allah, you're going to have one point of view about what life and God and family and work looks like, right? And what your culture is going to look like. And then as a Buddhist, you're going to have a completely different perspective. And yes, we can always trace it back to the same source, right? It all comes back to the very beginning when we all were joined together as souls and made that agreement to go out and do different things. But what happens is we forget along the way, holy cow, there is so much great energy coming in, so much love. Wow. So we all go off and we have these different experiences and we forget that we're related. We forget that we're connected. And Sarah, you're absolutely right. That's what it all boils down to. And that's why there's so much energy that is coming in now, so much healing that is coming in now that's around this. All of it is love. All of it is love. It all comes back to love. That's how we were created, and that's what it's all about. And holy cow, if they don't stop doing this to me, I can't believe I'm going to sit here and bawl my eyes out on a video where I can be reminded of it regularly. So it all comes back to love. And we're busy having these experiences, right? We're busy having these experiences about what it is to be this religion or that religion, or to have this belief system about how the world should be structured, or something that's completely opposite. That we are busy just having this experience. And I've had in the last few days, several people come to me and say, but I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with what you say about this or what you say about that. I'm not sure that I can really connect with that. And I've begun to understand that that's okay. It's okay if you don't see things the way I see them. It's okay if you don't have the same perspective that I do. If you don't believe that, God looks like this, or that this is the way you handle this particular situation, it's totally okay. It's even totally okay if you have a dog sitting at your feet whining to you going, how come you aren't paying any attention to me? So the really cool thing is that I can actually pick her up and see, come on, you need to be, oh, no, don't do that. She's going to say, Mom, I'm just going to cough and have a fit here. Um, it's okay if we have different points of view, if we are having a different, we're having a different experience. It's okay if, you say, I absolutely love peas. Great. I don't love peas that much, but you can go and start a grand pea society and love all the different ways that peas show up in the world, right? Such a strange experience, really. You're going to sit there and give me that analogy. You can love all the ways that you can make peas. I don't love peas. I'm going to go, be a fan of corn. And I am going to go find all the different ways that corn can be made. And that's what's going to be important to me. That's how I'm going to structure my life. They're so very funny. Hey, Kat, it's great to see you. Regina, it's great to see you as well. The funny thing is, the analogy that they're giving me is that there's some of us who are like, I love corn. I love corn so much that I'm going to paint my house the color of summer corn. And each room is going to be representative of a different kind of corn and a different color. And it's just like, really, that's the analogy that you're going to give me to use for all the different ways that we think we're separate, right? And then my friend, Miss P, who just absolutely loves peas, sees peas are the only way. If you don't eat peas, then oh my goodness, you are going to be deficient in so many vitamins, and you're going to get these illnesses and have these conditions, and you're probably going to really be prone to, taking up guns, is what they're actually telling me, taking up guns and fighting against people who don't believe in peace. Hey, good morning, Eileen. It's great to see you. Cat, I said porn. Careful, I may mix peas and corn up to get porn. But that all of us sit there and start to argue like, no, it's peas. Peas are the best. Peas are the best. And it's like, no, corn is the answer. Corn is the answer to everything. And instead of us remembering that it just doesn't really matter whether we like peas or we like corn, that somewhere in the world there's also going to be somebody who is just raving over watermelon. Holy moly, they're raving over watermelon, and that's not even a vegetable. Come on. What in the world is going on here? And so we have this illusion going on that if we think of peas or we think of corn or we're the watermelon people, that we are the best. That is how that's how the world is structured. That's how it is. And it is absolutely not true. And what in the world do you do about the person who was born into the peas? Right? They are a pea from the moment that they're born, and they get to a certain age and they go, you know what? I don't even like peas. I do not even like peas. Peas are mushy. I don't like the way they crunch. I don't like, what you do with them when you put them in a soup. And they suddenly are like, you know what? I am really more of a green bean person. Holy cow, now what has happened? What has happened is now we have another box created, right? Another way of separating us. And it's very cute because in my head, everybody is walking around with like a hat on, right? The peas have a giant pea on their head. Some of them have really gone crazy and made the pea pod, or, a kernel of corn, or they have the whole ear of corn. And it just starts getting crazy. You can see how we could create a world that is filled with lots of different vegetables and then lots of different fruits. And then, of course, eventually there's going to be somebody who comes along and says, I am much more interested in roses and I want to talk about flowers. And then we create that. And there's just all of this separation that is created because we have this idea that we're really separate, that somehow we're really different, that because we suddenly started thinking a different way that was different from the group, right? I was a pea. I started thinking a little bit differently. I no longer agreed with the peas. I no longer like the color of peas. I want to paint my house pink. So when we start to see that, then we're like, wow, what's wrong with me? There must be some issue with me. There must be something wrong with me. Why in the world would I be thinking that I want to paint my house pink? I mean, I'm a pea. Everything is green in my world. There's nothing wrong with us, and there's nothing wrong with that other person. There's nothing, different about them. They have just taken a turn. They have decided to look at something different. Maybe they've just really gotten tired of green. That's okay too. I don't know about you, but I get a little tired of green after a while. So it's all just an illusion, and it's all created in there's this fear underneath it, right? Well, what happens if I am no longer a pea? If I'm no longer a pea, what am I? How do I suddenly become something different? Wow, now they're throwing carrots at me. Literally, I'm seeing like those little baby carrots, being rained down on. And it's like, well, now I want to be a carrot. Now I want to be into orange. Now I want to be something different. How do I separate myself? How do I stop being a pea and start being a carrot? You just do. You just go, you know what? It's okay. I don't have to always look this particular way or that particular way. In our world, we don't have to dress a certain way, and we don't have to behave a certain way, and we don't have to believe a certain process. We can have lots of different views about what we are here to do. We can have people who look at things like they're constantly wearing rose-colored glasses. I love those people because they're the ones that remind me, gosh, there's good in the world. There's beauty in the world. There's always another way to look at this. And then, of course, there's the people who are wearing the dark-colored glasses, right, that just seem to always see things in the bleakest of terms. Those are really cool people, too. Like, those are the people that create some amazing art, some amazing, fiction and movies and things like that. It's all perfect for us. It's all part of the process. I'm laughing because now I'm seeing a giant salad bowl. And the giant salad bowl is just like, it feels like I'm like getting this like source. Here I am chopping up vegetables, throwing this in and throwing that in, and doing a little bit of this and doing a little bit of that. And it's creating something new. Over the last few days, I have decided I was really bored with the salads that we had been having here at our house. They kind of always had the same vegetables in them. And so I've actually been looking up recipes and doing different salad dressings and different salads. So that must be why I get the analogy of the salad. And it is like, okay, well, now we're going to make a salad, and we're going to put in peas and carrots and corn, and we're going to put in, some arugula, and we're going to put in some bib lettuce, and we're going to put in some romaine lettuce, and then we're going to have this amazing salad over here. But there might be some peas that don't want to stay in that salad. They have like little personalities now, and it wants to jump over and wants to be in a different salad. That's okay. That's so cool. I'm a mixed vegetable with cheese sauce type of girl. Anything is good with cheese sauce on it. Have you all ever played that game where you try to think of a food that doesn't taste good with either ranch dressing, cheese sauce, or chocolate? Okay, now I give you a whole new thing to think about. A food that does not taste good with either, doesn't have to be all of them, ranch dressing, cheese sauce, or chocolate. There's the thing, right? Some of us want our carrots with cheese sauce. Some of us want our carrots with chocolate. I personally think that's a little odd. But some of us will eat carrots all day long as there is ranch dressing. And that's okay. It's a little weird that we were talking about being vegetables and now we're talking about eating vegetables, but we're going to just keep going with it. This whole point is about us understanding that we really aren't separate. We really all came from the same place. And it's an illusion. It's just a thought. It's like a dream. There's a lot of ways that people talk about it, that there are different boxes that people fit into different categories. Because when we take all those layers off, when we get down to who people really are, we want to see them as the love that they truly are. We really want to see past the pain and the hurt and the mean things that they have said. I was thinking about this. Eileen wants to be Okra. I was thinking about this from a child's point of view, because I remember being a kid and having my very best friend decide not to go to the same school as I did. And I was really hurt because I was like, she's my very best friend. I want to be in school with her. And somehow I knew that her going to a different school was the break in our relationship, that was going to be what was going to separate us. And I remember that we had a fight. We had an argument, and it was, a silly thing. And I went home and she went home. And before I knew it, 30 years had passed. And I was looking her up on Facebook. But sometimes that's how things happen. Sometimes that's what happens. And it's just we've, made a turn. We've jumped into another salad. Eileen, you might be right about okra. I'm not sure if anybody, I think okra could probably go with ranch dressing, though. Not to be weird and jump around in conversations, but I think you could probably make an argument that okra could be done with ranch dressing. I certainly wouldn't do it with chocolate. But this idea, love is all there is. Whoever says something to you, whoever disagrees with you, whoever has an idea that looks different than yours, it's like, yeah, but underneath of it all, love is all there is. I got this really great example from the Book of Freedom, which was about a town that everybody in the town developed a disease, a really dangerous disease, and the Black Plague kind of disease, and everybody was dying. And the person of God, whatever they looked like, whether they were a priest or a pastor or minister or rabbi or whatever, was afraid to come into the town to bless the people. He was afraid that if he came into the town that, he would catch whatever it was and then he would die. And so there were people everywhere that were getting sicker and sicker and were close to dying, with nobody to see them for the truth of who they are, nobody to see them for the beautiful people that they were, the part of God that they were, the God that they were. And it's such incredible teaching, because you can see the fear, and you might even really understand that fear, right? Of who would want to go into a town where you knew that you had a really high chance of catching whatever it was, but somebody needed to go in and somebody needed the person to be the person to say, I see who you are. I know who you are. I know what you are, and I know how you serve. And somebody needed to be there to bless them. And it was a really touching analogy for me, because there are so many ways that is exactly what's happening here in our world, where there's people that aren't being seen, that people that aren't being loved, people that are seen as separate and different and untouchable and dangerous to get close to. Maybe I'm going to catch something from them. And it's an opportunity for us to say, you know, can I be the person who will see that person, who will see the person who is dying from a disease, not as somebody who is being punished by God or somehow has done something to deserve what they are getting, but that we can be the person who can see them for who they really are. We can see them for the love that they really are and the experience that they've had. And Sarah, you're absolutely right. It is exactly what you've done with your clients. Good morning, Hadar. It's great to see you. It's, can we see beyond the dirt and the grime and they're showing me some really gross things on the body, but the sores and the pain and the fear and the anger. Can we see past all that to who the person really is, to the fact that they had a family, that they made a difference in the world, that they did something here? Can we, holy cow, there it is again. Can we see past all of that stuff, right? All of the outside shell, and can we see that they are really loved? It's a beautiful opportunity for us to practice that this week, for us to be willing to look beyond whatever hat the person is wearing. We're talking about somebody was wearing a hat that identified them as a pea or as a carrot, as a watermelon. Look beyond what they are presenting to us, right? Here's what I want you to know about myself. Here's who I am. Here's who I am. No, you're not that thing you keep showing me. You are so much more than that. I am going to look beyond what you are showing me and saying, I can see beyond that. I can see more than what you're willing to give to me, to show to me. I know there is something more. Good morning, Jackie. It's great to see you. Yeah, this idea of us being able to see beyond what we're being shown, to see beyond the separation, see beyond what is showing up for us, because we're all so much more than what we present. And wow. It's a beautiful opportunity for us, right? This week is just a normal week. We had the full moon last week, and this is kind of our break to go, okay, we've taken in all that energy from last week, and we're moving towards that new moon in a week and a half. What am I going to do? This is my opportunity to say, you know what? I actually see you. I see beyond your fear. I see beyond your pain. I can see that you are so much more than that hat you wear. And I know that you label yourself as a pea, as a carrot, as a corn, but that you are so much more than that. Through all of that, you are love, and you're constantly bursting with love, and it's there when I can get through all of the other stuff that is getting in the way. So I love that that's a challenge for us this week, right? Can we challenge ourselves to see beyond whatever the person is presenting? There's one last analogy that they're giving me, and they're giving me the analogy of a little kid having a temper tantrum. I don't want to go to bed. You know, stomping their feet and screaming. And it's the mom that looks at them, or the dad that looks at them and says, I just don't have one more ounce of energy for this. And they just want to pick them up and put them in the bed, close the door, and just be done. But it's the analogy that I'm being given is the person, whoever it is, who can just envelop them in love, can absolutely surround their child or that child in love, and know that whatever is going on inside, whatever is presenting to all of us on the outside, that's not who they are. We just need to wrap our arms around them and love them a little more, love them a whole lot more, because the only truth that we have is that the separation is an illusion and that love is all there is. I hope you all have a fabulous day and a fabulous week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. I love you all dearly. Take care.